welcome back to Cuban with a Twist. Today we're going to make albondigas and fettuccine. We're going to start off with some brown round, okay, which is the 80-20 mix, and we're going to also put the sirloin, which is the 93-7. Okay, reason we're going to do that is because I don't want it to be so fatty and I don't want it to be so dry. So we're going to mix half and half, okay? So we start it off, put it all together. And then we'll add our spices, and then we'll make the meatballs. Okay? All right. I'm going to clean my hands real quick. All right, we're back. I just washed my hands because I'm going to start touching my olive oil bottle, my salt and pepper, and my seasonings. I don't want to mix the dirt of the meat with the bottles. Okay, so we've got our spice that we always use, which is the laird. I'm going to put that in. A good mixture. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. Okay, nice drizzle. We're going to use Italian breadcrumbs. Okay, I've got about a cup and a half here. I'm just going to put it so that it's covering it lightly. We're going to slice up one lemon. I'm sorry, not a lemon, a lime. Squeeze that over that. Okay. This again. We've got a little bit of the Goya tomato-based sauce. It's a Sofrito, which I use in a lot of our different recipes. Put that on top. And now we're going to use our hands. We're going to mix it all together. You want to make sure that it's all covered in it. It's going to keep the meatballs together, and the flavor is just going to be fantastic. Right, now that I've mixed it all together, I'm going to put it in a bowl and I'm going to let it chill for about half an hour in the refrigerator. Well, so now we're going to start preparing the sauce. You know, you can go to the grocery store and pick up a jar of any type of sauce that you like, but the best way to get things going and to have that great flavor and make it your own is creating your own sauce. So I've started with some zima, sweet tomatoes with some heirloom tomatoes, just a mixture of a few different kinds of tomatoes. So I'm going to put that just like this into my pot. I'm going to drizzle it with olive oil. Make sure that you get it nicely coated. And I'm going to roast these tomatoes for about 15 to 20 minutes. Cover them in some nice sea salt and some black pepper. Make sure you get them all. And I'm just going to put it in the oven at about 375. And we'll leave that in there for about 20 minutes or so. Now, I've also chopped up some red onions, some red peppers, some sweet onions, and about 4 cloves of garlic. And we're going to saute this with some fresh oregano and fresh basil. Right now, we've got the tomatoes roasting in the oven, we've got the meat chilling in the refrigerator, and we're going to get started on sauteing our vegetables. Okay? We've got the sweet onions, we've got the red peppers, and about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Okay, we're going to bring that over here. I've got my pan. We're going to drizzle it with the olive oil. Always try to use olive oil. It gives it a better flavor, and it's also much healthier for you than butter or vegetable oil. Okay, that's the noise that you want to hear. That's when you know that the pan is ready for you to start sauteing. Okay, bring it all in. And you want to let the onions and the red peppers go first. Let them cook a little bit before you add the garlic. If not, the garlic will overcook and it won't taste good. Okay, so we're going to just put this in like this for a little bit. Oops. Add a little cracked pepper and salt. Okay. Here's our pepper. I'm going to put it up to about a 6 right now and just let the vegetables get translucent. This will take a few minutes, anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes or so. It's been about 8 minutes. So now we're going to add 2 ounces of white wine. Just put it in there. We're going to add our fresh garlic. And we're going to let that simmer. Okay. To that I'm going to also add a little fresh oregano. Just going to toss it on top. And the basil. It's got a great smell, nice aroma. Okay. I'm going to lower that to about a 2, and I'm going to cover. Next, we're going to work on making our meatballs, or our albondigas. We're back, and now it's the messy part. We're going to make the meatballs. Okay, so I've taken it out. It's a little bit chilled. So we're just going to start digging in there. Grab them. Don't make them too big, because if you make them too big, they fall apart in the pan, and you really want to be able to have them stick together. Now, I did not use any eggs. I try to stay away from that. Try to make it as simple as possible. So there we go. Roll it around. Okay, and there you have a little meatball. So we're going to make a few of those. Scoop it. And they can't be perfect. They're all not going to be the same size, which would be wonderful, but we know that that's not the case. So roll it again in your hands. Cup it a little bit. Okay. There you go. So I'm going to continue to make all these meatballs, and as soon as I'm done, I'll show you how we're going to fry them. We're back, and it's been about 20 minutes or so. We're going to take a look at our tomatoes and see how they're coming along. See if it's time to add our simmered and sautéed vegetables to it, okay? So remember, I put a pot in there, so you want to use a nice damp rag so you don't burn yourself. Pull that out. Yeah, that looks fantastic. That's what you're looking for. The tomatoes have fallen apart, become a nice little sauce. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add our sautéed mix to that. Check that up here. Pull it off. Okay. The reason I'm doing this in the oven versus over the stove top, you could do it over the stove top, but the oven tends to cook it from up, not just from the bottom, like the stove top, but really all around. And this is a convection oven, so the warmth is flowing through the oven, which gives it a nice all-around cook. I'll mix that all up. Add all of the stuff in. Okay. I am going to add just a tiny bit more of the olive oil. We're going to taste it and see how we need to add a little bit of salt or pepper. A that tastes fantastic. Yep, very nice. Okay, so we're going to let that continue to bake. And now we're going to start on our meatballs. See, I've got a pot, some olive oil in it. Now, out of the 2 pounds of meat that I purchased, I was able to get about 15 meatballs. Now, I made them generously, but you can see they're not all the same size. Maybe it's a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. But we're going to go ahead and put them in. I just want to brown them, okay? So keep your temperature low, but enough so that you have that sizzle when you put the meat in. And don't put too many so that they have room to breathe. Once they're done browning, we're going to add them to the sauce that's in the oven and we're going to let them bake. The meatballs are nicely browned. Let's take a look at them. They've been cooking for about 8 minutes or so. Now remember, we don't want to cook it through and through. We just want them to be browned on the outside. Try to move them so that they don't break. Okay? That last little one right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to add it to the sautéing pan with the sauce in the oven. So let's do that. Pull it out. Oh, our sauce has got a great color. And we're just going to add them. There we go. There we go. Okay. This one, right at the end. Take a little bit of that oil and add it to the sauce. It's almost like a little bit of a beef stock, and we'll just add that in there. Cover them a little bit with the sauce. We're going to let that cook in there for about 30 minutes. In about 15 minutes, we're going to start our fettuccine, so I'll see you then. We're back. Now we're going to go ahead and put the pasta to cook. I put aside some vegetable fettuccine and some garlic and parsley fettuccine. And I'm just going to mix it up together. Okay? The water's been boiling. We're going to add a little bit of salt to the water and a little bit of olive oil. Okay? A little drizzle. Just want to get a nice little handful. Now, this type of fettuccine, it cooks in about 8 minutes. So you want to be right by it. You don't want to leave it alone. You want to be stirring it and watching over it. So I put half and half. I'm going to move it around. We're going to give it about 8 minutes or so, and then we're going to plate our dish. Everything's done. We've put it together and plated it. This is our albondigas a la Cubana pasta with fettuccine. Thank you so much for watching us. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and watch us on syndicatednews.net. Thank you, and have a great day.